Hello everybody, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of Video Clips. And I'll start with a couple of announcements. First of all, keep those pledges coming in. Stop talking, start doing. Members can pledge and so can non-members. And of course the members get a little bit bigger benefit, but non-members can get a gift certificate which you can use toward membership. So email me if you want to stop talking, start doing about something about your health this year. And also, if you've been listening to me for a long time and thinking about careers and thinking one of these days I'm going to email that woman and strike up a conversation about careers, doing what she's doing, this would be the time to do it. Stop talking, start doing, and email me about that too. By the way, the Stop Talking, Start Doing reward program for non-members ends March 31st. So, and we're doing that for a reason. More announcements to come what happens after March 31st later, but you don't want to put this off. All right. Second thing, it's just a couple weeks until the new vaccine course starts, which I'm teaching, and of course we'll be videotaping to put on a platform. So if you're interested in taking this course and having access to the platform to which we'll be adding updated information all the time, this would be the time to talk to us. Same email address, pampopper@msn.com. And remember, we have lots and lots of great membership benefits we've added this year. Office hours with Eileen, our incredible physical therapist, Ask the Therapist sessions with Kylie Aurorba, Question of the Week videos posted on the members site, and new articles added to the library every week. And then our Learn and Earn program, where we will actually pay you to take classes from us as a member. So, pampopper@msn.com. And then responding to some comments, I always try to pick at least one comment that I think is kind of important. I continue to get emails from people who are saying, I heard somebody say that this supplement, helps you live to be 100, and then somebody else said this and somebody said that. The thing to do when somebody makes a claim about something is to ask that person making the claim to provide documentation for what they're saying. I mean, those of you who are members, who have access to our libraries and our slide sets and all that sort of thing, know that we put references with all of our stuff that you can check out. So when somebody makes a claim and it sounds like it's not quite right, ask them for evidence. That's what we provide to the people who are coming to us for information. All right, so just a tip, ask for evidence. All right. This is kind of a follow-up video or an article to one that I did last year. So last year I created a video with an accompanying referenced article on the uselessness of omega-3 fatty acid supplements, including a new prescription omega-3 drug. Vascepa, a prescription omega-3 product made by Amarin, was approved originally for treating high triglycerides. And at the time that I created that video and posted the first article about this, Amarin had applied for approval for Vascepa for cardiovascular risk reduction in adults. And I mentioned in the video clip that Vascepa was shown in the study that actually led to its approval, I'll get to that in a minute, to reduce the risk of cardiovascular death, fatal or non-fatal stroke by 0.9% while slightly increasing bleeding events, atrial fibrillation, and peripheral edema. 0.9%, less than 1% difference. In spite of that, Vascepa was unanimously recommended for approval by the FDA committee that reviewed it and subsequently approved by the FDA. I mean, what's not to like about a drug that's almost useless for everyone and harmful for only a few? The approval really is in keeping with the FDA's policy of approving almost anything submitted to by the drug companies, and one of the reasons is, drugs don't have to be very effective. They can even be harmful, but they can still get approved because the FDA charges user fees for from drug companies to get their products reviewed. Actually is a fee to get the product approved. The reviewing process is, I think, a joke. And by the way, just to give you an idea, the size of this payment program that the drug companies to the FDA, it's going to exceed $1 billion this year. It's supposed to be like 1.1 billion is what the FDA will take in from drug companies. So no wonder they approve everything. So Vascepa is now approved for all adults who are taking maximum tolerated doses of statins, who have either established cardiovascular disease or diabetes and 2 or more additional risk factors for cardiovascular disease. Now, the 2 risk factors are not specified, so they could include age, smoking, hypertension, taking hypertension drugs, low HDL cholesterol, high C-reactive protein, BMI over 25, renal dysfunction, and retinopathy. That's a short list, by the way. So essentially, doctors can prescribe the drug to anyone. Now, this is great for Amarin, as is noted by Craig Granowitz, Chief Medical Officer at Amarin, who said, "It is difficult to precisely define the size of the population now eligible for Vascepa, but it is big." Probably an understatement, because Amarin reports that it expects sales of $700 million in 2020 and eventually billions of dollars in annual sales. I'll tell you, the fact that in the United States of America you can make billions of dollars annually in sales for a drug that is virtually useless and harmful for many is just sort of amazing, isn't it? The lead investigator of the trial that produced the underwhelming results that led to the approval, Deepak Bhatt, says the approval of Vascepa is, quote, "the most significant event in the field of cardiovascular prevention since the introduction of statins nearly 3 decades ago." Now, statins are remarkably ineffective for almost everyone who takes them, reducing the risk of events and death by less than 1%, fractions of a percent for most people. You might want to read my article in the library called "The Remarkable Uselessness of Statin Drugs." Another discovery with the impact of statin drugs is just what we need right now. Billions and billions of dollars spent with absolutely no benefit for most of the people who take the drug. Bhatt sounded almost giddy when he praised the FDA for a, quote, "very evidence-based, prescriber-friendly, and most importantly, patient-friendly label." The term evidence-based sure is open to interpretation these days. No wonder Bhatt is so enthusiastic. He sits on advisory boards for dozens of drug companies, and he receives research funding. Here's the short list, by the way: Abbott, Affimmune, Amarin, Amgen, AstraZeneca, Bayer, Boehringer, Bristol Myers Squibb, CSL Behring. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. He's just a drug company shill, is what he is. Now, on another front, some drug companies are abandoning efforts to compete with their own omega-3 products. AstraZeneca is one of them. They're closing the STRENGTH trial, which was testing the efficacy of Epanova, a fish oil-derived product containing mainly EPA and DHA. The trial was closed because the data monitoring committee concluded that there was little likelihood of showing benefit in the target population, people with high cholesterol and at high risk for cardiovascular disease. Most likely the drug would have been approved anyway, so it's kind of a remarkable acknowledgement of the uselessness of these drugs that AstraZeneca would decide not to pursue it. Asclepion Pharma also reported bad news about its own EPA-DHA drug called Capri, which was supposed to be a superior formulation that allowed for better absorption of EPA and DHA. In the Trilogy 1 trial, the results were the same in the placebo group as in the group of patients taking the drug. We call that useless. That's essentially what that means. So let's summarize. Dozens of meta-analyses show that omega-3 supplements that you can buy over the counter are useless, and in some of these studies, the risk of harm couldn't be ruled out. The one pharmaceutical omega-3 drug that is approved is virtually useless and harmful for some. 2 drug companies have abandoned attempts to bring another omega-3 product to market because even though they're almost guaranteed approval because the FDA is approving everything, even though they just can't justify the uselessness of these products. So this omega-3 thing, it reminds me of the vitamin D hoax. It just needs to go away. It's beating a dead horse, study after study. When the drug companies are even saying it isn't worth pursuing, everything's worth pursuing to them because they make money no matter what. So anyway, I thought you would enjoy the follow-up to the study the topic that I discussed last year with omega-3 supplements and their uselessness, and the pharmaceutical version is useless and it's approved anyway. Other useless omega-3 supplements, they're not even going to try to get them approved. So that's all for today. As usual, if you're not a subscriber, hit the subscriber button. Please pass this on to anybody who you think would enjoy watching it, and I'll be back to you on Thursday with more news.